Hi, and welcome everyone to the End of Life Journey and Beyond, the Sands of Time. My name is Lisa Strauss Lawrence, and I am a bereavement specialist. Hi, Susan. Always good to see you.
Hi, Lisa. Always good to see you. I'm Susan Capurso, an end-of-life doula and legacy specialist. And we want to welcome everybody this week of Thanksgiving. And Lisa, why don't you
Sure.
lead the conversation today?
Sure. This is a tough time for everybody. There is a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of trouble, and a lot of problems that have caused a lot of panic and stress and loss for many people and sadness. But it is Thanksgiving week. And every once in a while, you get something, not only just emails, but you get some really nice newsletters. And I have to acknowledge the newsletter that I was sent by Wieselman, Haroni, and Family Law. And it talks about Thanksgiving and it talks about this week and how important it is that gratefulness plays a very important part of our lives and recognizing the people and opportunities that bring us joy, especially during difficult times that what I call a grateful mindset, we always talk about that, really can transform life's challenges into resilience. And resilience can really move you forward. It's interesting. I want to quote something from a psychology professor at the University of California. This is Robert A. Emmons, and this is what he said. He says there's evidence that grateful people are more resilient to stress in general, whether we're talking about minor everyday hassles or major personal upheavals, or simply the stress of the holidays. And so, very important because it shows how important it is to attitude, how we can really bring our own attitude to changing how we see things or how we react to things. And by the way, research has linked positive emotions like gratitude to health and wellness. We know that.
Yeah, yeah. And I've done something recently. I put together a presentation on stress in the holidays. And that's a great point. And you making sure that you bring some of the positivity, but keep in mind that not everybody thinks that way. And not everybody will bring that positivity and let's all get along and have a loving and great and be grateful for this day. A lot of family members can bring their emotions to the table and their toxicity and their angst and anxiety about just being together with family members that I haven't seen in a while. They're going to ask me this, they're going to ask me that. So a lot of that is brought into a family gatherings that may not have nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to for everybody to try and bring something a little positivity and gratefulness to the table, but also if you are the positive person, know that the rest of the family or many members may not be. So that requires more patience on your part, right? Patience and resilience and all kinds of things.
I think you can only control what you do and what you're feeling. And you have to watch your reaction to others. And so you have to make sure that within yourself, you're you're positive and you are practicing the kind of gratitude. It does help increased optimism, they say. Helps with sleep quality, helps even reducing blood pressure. It's all about attitude and gratitude.
Yeah.
So it's a really a way of life. I mean, I've always seen life as positive, and yet if I tell people what I've been through, they say to me, "How can you even be positive?" Well, it's how you see it. It's how you define your own life.
Right.
And you got to turn that around because it is your health that we're talking about and your mental, feelings about life. If you're negative all the time, it's going to hurt your health. It's going to hurt the way you see everything in your life. Everything becomes dark. And that's not a positive way to go through life.
And Lisa, when it comes to the holidays like this Thanksgiving holiday, it's also important to really set some realistic expectations. I tend to, all my life, my husband used to tell me that I think of magic and butterflies and rainbows all the time because I try to implement that, but not everybody does. So set set some expectations that it may not go exactly the way it's planned. If it does, wonderful, even more reason to celebrate, but it might not. So be aware of those situations, effectively communicating with one another. That's really important, and listening and not dismissing people so easily, because even the most positive people can be judgmental and dismissive, I think,
That's true.
right?
That's true.
So we have to be careful with that.
So there are a few things you can do. And some of the newsletter really talks about this, starting small. When you see something that's a negative thought, you can turn it around and say, well, what's the positive part of this? It's like me. I was fired from 4 jobs, but they weren't my fault. And I recognized what was going on in each of the situations and how threatening I was in certain situations and such. So it's really how you see things. Look, the people who we've lost are not at that table with us. And yet I bring the memories of them and of what we used to do. Like pumpkin, for instance. Pumpkin is my thing. So, the pumpkin breads and the pumpkin soup and the pumpkin pie. I mean, that's something that my husband and I did together. And I bring that with me. I still use the recipe I got in 1977 for pumpkin bread. You know, so those memories are really nice to bring in when the person is no longer there. And yes, we miss them. There's no question we miss them, but we can't bring them back. So we can certainly keep the memories of them with us in a holiday and such. We can do that. Um, you
And
can
two
also start a
behaviors also, though, Lisa, not to interrupt you, but on that note, being flexible, being flexible in your thoughts and compromising with the other people in your gathering. And I don't care if it's four, five, 6 people or 26 people. You need to be a little flexible. It's not all about the way you feel that the event should go. And sometimes things get thrown in and interjected, and you have to compromise and be flexible.
That's so true. So true. Yeah. And keeping your expectations realistic.
Yeah.
Very, like you said. So gratitude journal, because we've mentioned that before. That's always something that you could, add each day that's helpful. And reaching out to someone who you care about. Maybe the holidays means a time where you haven't spoken to somebody in a really long time. Could be a friend or could be a relative, but a really good excuse to call up and say happy Thanksgiving and how you doing? How's your life going? And I was thinking about you. That's really nice. People love that, especially because it's been a while, I'm sure, that you spoke, to the person. Then there's also gratitude, with what they in this newsletter call gratitude affirmations. So the positive things that you can say each day, and you can come up with a bunch of them. Actually, a long time ago, there was something called a 12 by 12 by 12. Did you ever hear this?
No.
Okay. Way back, I was introduced to this worldwide thing, 12 by 12 by 12. It's 12 affirmations, 12 times a day for 12 weeks. And for people who
Interesting.
are really depressed and people who are, just lost, when you say them 12 times a day, you really start believing them, believe me. And for 12 weeks, you do this.
Well, I have definitely heard the concept,
Yeah.
not the 12, 12, and 12, but I've definitely heard the concept about how it really will change your world after doing something repeatedly,
Yes.
every single day for at least 30 days, they say,
Yes.
so I agree with that.
Yes. 12 weeks worth and beautiful affirmations and different ones each week. So,
And
gratitude.
just, yes, being grateful, having gratitude, and all of these things, but still, after the loss, and that's what we're really, Lisa and I are here to talk about, end of life and after. And still, though, I mean, there can be situations where you just don't want to participate, right? You don't want to be a part of the crowd. You don't want to be social. You don't want to, you're invited, but you don't want to go. Okay, so what are good suggestions for that, Lisa? I mean,
I think that there are
force yourself
compromises.
to go.
You don't, well, there are compromises. You might not stay the 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever it is. Maybe you show up for a little while and you say hello. that would be
And set
okay.
boundaries for yourself. Have your
Yes.
own rules and say, this is how it's going to work. And I will get in the car and I'll go. I'll spend an hour or two, and as soon as 4 o'clock hits, oops, I gotta go. And you might find that the situation changes. I know that's happened to me in certain situations where I dread going, I don't want to be there. And then once I'm there, you may look at the clock and say, wow, I'm glad I came. I'm really
Yeah.
having a nice time.
Getting out is half the battle. The
Yeah.
anticipation of things is half the battle. It's it's just allowing yourself and just going a little bit extra to try and test yourself out. You are not as breakable as you think, by the way. We have enormous strengths that we don't give ourselves credit for,
Yeah.
and resilience, by the way, all of us. So we can do some things that we never thought we could do. And we just have to try it. It's a little bit of a risk. And again, when you're feeling uncomfortable, you say, I really appreciate this opportunity. It's time for me to go, you know? Um,
Yeah, and you have to remember that even if you're the person today listening to this who hasn't gone through loss, and you're not feeling that sadness, maybe somebody at your celebration is. So to have that little bit of empathy going on and help them to feel a little more comfortable in that situation.
and we talked about something else, by the way, on Friday night when I did a moving on group. We talked about how some people don't want to make it worse, so they don't mention that person's name at all. And that's
Uh,
worse because
Yeah,
we need to remind
we talk
everybody
about that. We
that's
talk
right.
about that. It's not gonna end their world. It'll actually make the first person feel better. If I were invited to a big event and somebody says, "Oh my gosh, don't you wish Jim was here? He was the funniest and had the best jokes. Doesn't everybody wish he was here with us today?" That would make me feel so good. Would make
Yes,
me feel so good. So the people who have lost somebody, they want acknowledgement. They
right.
want to hear that. Most people, like you just said, brush it under the carpet and don't speak about it because they think they're going to bring up
Mhm,
something
mhm.
to make them run in the bathroom and
Right.
cry.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
that
That's not
won't
true.
happen.
That's not
Yeah.
true. That's right. That's right. And then, of course, as you say, there's all kinds of meditations that you can do and get yourself to a better place, a more positive place. I don't do those things, but I know a lot of people do, and they find it very reassuring and very positive for them.
It's a
So,
big help. It's a really big help, Lisa. So I'm a big meditator, as you know, and I can't even stress enough how important it is for you to try. Just try. There are so many guided meditations. Do the guided meditations because meditating on your own is tough. But find one that interests you. And I would suggest even YouTube, because there's so many on there. And you don't have to watch the pictures on the screen. You can just sit with your eyes closed and listen. I like laying down. Some people sit up, there's no rules. There's no rules. It's all about just deep breathing. But what I find is if I'm anxious and have some anxiety about something I'm going to do or about to do, you sit in a chair like that for, I'd say, at least 20 minutes of that deep breathing in and out and just listening to the soft music or the person's voice, you're going to come out of that feeling completely different. Strong, you'll have confidence, you'll feel that I can do anything. Wow, that feels good. It really does. So give it a try. Don't smack it away.
yes, yes. And again, be careful who you expose yourself to. Maybe you're not ready for certain people who may be not positive people, or, just treat yourself, think about yourself, and think about what you can handle. Push yourself a little bit, but also be mindful of where
And
you are.
also, but also you as the person who's lost people or somebody in your life, yes, you need to be gentle with yourself, but not everybody's in your shoes. So you have to have a little empathy towards them as well, not knowing your journey, not knowing the walk that you're taking. They don't really understand. Maybe they've never suffered a loss. So they might be a little shorter with their words or could say the wrong thing. And if you yourself have a little more empathy towards that and patience with that, it'll make the whole event go a lot better as well.
Yes, yes. So again, we're talking about gratitude, and we're also talking about, the attitude that you have as well. Positivity and focus on thankfulness. There is so much to be thankful for, truly.
Yeah. And one last thing too, we want to make it short. It's a holiday week, and of course we say happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. But one thing you can remember, and Lisa and I talk about this in almost so many of our videos, that seasons change, right? Things are differently. They may not be the way they were last year or the year
Yes,
before. You may not do the same things. So you really have to open your heart and your mind and your spirit and just open it all up. Be grateful, but welcome new things. And life can surprise you.
yes.
Life can really surprise you when you open yourself up to new things. And you may dread it. You may dread it. And then by the end of the day, feel like, wow, I did something completely different, but it really made me change my perspective, the way I view things, and how grateful I am to be here and alive and able to share in this incredible life.
Yes. I
So
love that. I love that. Because that
few
is
things
life,
to
and
think
life
about.
is for the living. We're all here to do
Exactly.
the best we can and live life the fullest. No matter how much
Exactly.
time we have, no matter what loss we've had, no matter what has happened in our lives. We're
That's
here
right.
and we're living our lives to the best of all of our abilities. So,
That's right.
yeah.
So thank you, Lisa, so
Yeah.
much for jumping on with me today. I know we have busy, crazy weeks, but we wanted
Sure.
to make sure we say happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yes.
Enjoy your holiday, be thankful and grateful. And we're still here and breathing and love the people that you're with.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving, all.
Happy Thanksgiving. See you next week, Lisa.
Yep. Take care.